We should not, in the city of Newark or any other place, be satisfied with the school system if our children who are going to schools are not being taught about the contributions that we made to make this country what it is. We just simply should not stand on the sidelines. My name is Bill Payne, William Payne, born in the city of Newark. I'm 93 years, and Newark's my home. Went to Barringer High School, and later on went to Rutgers University, and I did a number of things here. I had a business company here in the city of Newark, among some other things, and so this has been my home, and currently live in Newark now too. As a matter of fact, one of the things that happened when I was 21 years old or thereabouts, I went to vote, and in the North Ward of Newark, and I didn't like what I saw. The part of Newark that we lived in was in the Northern Ward, North Park of the Newark, and when I went to vote, I raised some questions about who was voting and how were they voting, et cetera, et cetera. And what happened when I voted for my very first time, I noted in the part of Newark that we were living was there were no African Americans participating in the voting program. And I asked questions about why is it that African Americans are not also participating or being asked to vote here too. And because the fellow told me that he didn't want any black people, and so that's what I decided that I guess I had to do, make some changes. So since then, I did that and made some changes, and got to the governor and other people like that, and the mayor to also let them know I didn't like what was happening, etc. And besides, I had grown up as a little earlier. I was going to Rutgers University, and also I had gotten involved in the NAACP. I was not happy at all with the way blacks were treated, etc. So when I got out of high school, before going to college, got out of high school, I ran into some people that were involved in the trying to make changes here, and so I joined the organization, the NAACP. So I became a member of the East Orange organization, and there was a woman by the name what was she was the head of the youth division, and I got active there, and then found out about other things to do, and I ran for office, and I became the state chairman of the youth division of the NAACP, and later on I got involved in making sure that African Americans were taking their vote, were voting when they're, that I got people involved. And when I was later on, I was working for the Prudential Insurance Company, and Ralph Bunch received an award at that time, and I was one working for the Prudential to attend in New York to attend the program that they had when Ralph got the award, and but I got active a little bit before that, because when I went to vote in the voting position at the turn of 21, I looked in the voting place, and I noted that there were about 8 folks that were working there, helping the people get set it up at so and so. But I looked around the room there up in North Newark. I was living in North Newark at the time, and I noted that there were no African Americans at all in this voting place. And I asked some questions about why, how many, where are the African Americans? Why don't they? Well, you have 8 people working here. It seemed to me that you also should include people from this neighborhood too, even though we may be about a third of the people there. And the guy came to me and said, "I don't want any black people here," which started me off. I mean, you got to be out of your mind. You're the top guy here, and you're telling me that you don't want any black people here. You've got to be out of your mind. I was ran for district leader up there in North Newark, and and I became the district leader then, but only lasted a short period of time because that one or 2 terms, because the guy didn't like the fact what I had done, so ran people against me. When we were young, when I first started, we lived in Belleville, and the first school that the Payne kids attended was in Belleville, and we were living in Silver Lake at the time, and the school that we attended was up there in north in Belleville, and we voted with the school that we went to, and the teachers, there were a few black kids there. The teachers had this book, this Black Sambo book. We were in a classroom, and I was in one classroom, and the teacher had this book out, the Black Sambo, and talked about how black the people were and whatever, so and so. And I said, this is insane, crazy. And then I looked at some of the other books and the neighborhoods and so on, so they were white. I said, no, this is something that lived with me. That just stayed with me until I was old enough to do something about it. It's crazy, insane, going back. And to this day, as a matter of fact, I have used that little black book to take with me to places where people are still using this at some places. I remember the mayor of Newark at the time, Crane, was heard about me up there, and so I met him, and I was going to Rutgers at this time, and he came by I was working in the polling place, but he came by Rodino, his name was, not Rodino, no, Rodino was a congressman. I forget what the governor's name was, or the mayor. So he heard about me, and so I went down to his office. By this time I was going to Rutgers here, and he called me down to his office. I said, I'd like to meet you. So I talked to him for a while, and what I would do, he said, here's my personal phone number. Give me a call whenever you want to. Okay, kid, which I did. I would be at school or Rutgers or whatever. I would call on his number, and the secretary would say, well, hold on a minute, the governor's tired. I had to tell the governor, Bill Payne, what's your name? Bill Payne, right? So anyway, he would pick up the phone, and she said, I don't understand this. You're just a kid. And every time you call, he takes the call. What is it with you? So he came out one day and he said, Bill, what are you doing? I was in Rutgers, and he said, I have to go to a luncheon. What are you doing? I said, I'm not doing anything. Come on, let's go to lunch with me. So it was one of these downtown lunches, and I became, I was with who are you with? I'm with the mayor. Although I lived in Newark, I joined the East Orange NAACP, and Mr. Madeline Williams was the head of it at the time. As a matter of fact, she became the first black woman assembly person, but they lived in East Orange. But anyway, I joined that, and I became well, people say, you don't even live up here. Well, that's all right. Anyway, I became the chairman, or the head of the East Orange one. Last week, I guess it was a week before, we had a meeting, statewide meeting with teachers to teach them about the Amistad letter, law that's there. In fact, we've been doing this for about, 8 years or so, to have people come to the convention during the summertime and learn about it, that we're supposed to be teaching. I was involved with Dr. King, and I was involved with people that got killed and worked hard. I cannot be comfortable with people that will not do anything about their children being taught this or that. That Belleville has. I can't be quiet about it. No, nobody should, for crying out loud, not in this day and age or any. But it still goes on. And as a matter of fact, just last week, last week I guess it was, we had the annual meeting of the Amistad organization, or whatever we call ourselves. And what we were trying to do was get teachers exposed to the law, number one, and number two, to learn about the legislation and whatnot. You can learn how you can use it in your school. But one of the major problem that we have is that the school districts do not enforce it. For instance, Newark now, for instance, the superintendent of schools doesn't look like me. He looks like that white paper up there, okay? This picture here, right here, the picture of Dr. King. Up here we have, let's see, who was that? Let's see, what's his name? Dr. King, and he was killed. He, my goodness, I don't know his name. I knew him. He was at the same meeting over there in California. We were at a convention, and after Dr. King made his speech, people came up. My Lord, I've forgotten him temporarily, and they were at the convention. And at the convention, what happened was that the older people, because here's Bill Payne, here I am, and Dr. King is he's not even 30 years old here, for crying out loud. And so when this convention was given and they had an opportunity for Dr. King to speak and talk about some of the things that need to be improved on, I got up and brought him on. I brought him on to him to speak there, and that he had the opportunity to speak among some of the people that just accept racism, unfortunately, some are afraid. I don't know why people don't do that. But at any event, the fight is still going on. I knew Dr. King. I was fortunate to be in a number of times, Hey, Bill, how you doing today? Hey, all right. And when I called him to come and speak over here at the Prudential with him, oh, he said, Bill, I got so much to do. I don't know. I said, Dr. King, please. I said, Mrs. Birch, who formed this organization for these young kids in Newark, she'll kill me. Because she told me she wanted you to call Dr. King, tell him I want him up here, Well, Mrs. Birch, she was a very tough lady, doing good things, very listening. And he said, I was back home in my office from being out there, and when she told me, you just call Mrs. Birch, and started the youth group that we have in Newark and around. But anyway, when I called him, he said, oh, Bill, I called him. I was in my phone office over here. I called him. He said, hello, it's Dr. King, it's Bill Payne. Oh, how you doing? Okay, Brother Payne. All right. I said, yes, what can I do for you? So I told him about the organization, and they were trying to, lift these kids and whatnot. I need your help, Dr. King. Oh, Brother Payne, I got so many things they want me to do. Lord have mercy, I don't know what I can do. Dr. King, he said, tell me again about the organization. Tell me about it. I said, we're trying to save these kids. Well, all right, I'll come on up there and we'll get a date. We'll come on. All right, I will. And great man. I got him to. I worked at Prudential Insurance Company. I was a PR guy or whatever, right? And there was about 3 blacks and 1,000 people there, I guess. But my brother worked on the 6th floor. And I think he came after me. I was on the 6th floor in public, 5th floor. Anyway, when I talked about the Prudential, I was working at the Prudential and whatever, I called him from there. And I told him how bad it was and we got to do something. Anyway, he said, well, okay, well, I'll do that, Bill. I'm tired, but. So anyway, that's what he did. So when I told Prudential, I'm bringing Dr. King to Newark. He talked to him. He said, I'm going to come up there. Bill Payne got me to come up there, whatever. So he came up. And so I told him, I said, Dr. King, you don't have to come down there now. We're having a dinner and whatnot. So you come on up a little later, whatnot. So he did. He stayed at the baseball player's home. And I went on back down because it was a dinner we were having later on, and I had to run the thing. So anyway, that's what happened. So we brought Dr. King in, and what happened was I had to pick Dr. King up, up in New York. He was there, and so we got that morning. We went over to New York to pick him up, and we had limousines and that kind of stuff. And he found out later on, he went up to Harlem to get a haircut. When he was up there. So he was talking about. I'm going to be telling those stories all day long. But he went to the barber with somebody up there, and they found out that Malcolm was up there, somewhere. So he got to talk to Malcolm and had some long conversations with Malcolm and whatnot. Martin, we're late. I told you to be on time. You Southerners are never on time. Lord have mercy. Come on, Martin, you got to make. So he said, Lord have mercy. He said, you're so worried about them, but you Southerners don't know how to be on time. Look at you, taking time. Come on, let's get out of here. He said, take your time, just take your time now. Just take all the time. Everything's gonna be all right. Just go on. So I can, we had a nice time. But anyway, I see the time is running out. So, I keep trying to make this a better place for our people, and I'll talk to people about it. I'll try to get people involved in the organization. I'm at the Prudential here, trying to, at the Prudential, trying to make them hire more people that look like me. They're doing pretty good, but not enough. And so there's a lot of more work that needs to be done, and I'm going to try to do that. And what I'm trying to do is to get other people involved. We should not, in the city of Newark or any other place, be satisfied with the school system if our children who are going to schools are not being taught about the contributions that we made to make this country what it is. We just simply should not stand on the sidelines and crying out loud. We simply have to be able to get people to not be satisfied with this foolishness that's out here, People are dying. And what I do, I have had people say to me, I talk about we need to make sure that our children learn about the contribution we made. We can't be satisfied with it. I said, we can't. And she said, oh yeah, we ought to make these preachers do it. Do what? We got schools out here all over, not teaching. We ought to make these preachers. That's not their job. Half of them not doing what they're supposed to do anyway. And there's not enough people. There's not enough people that are willing to be upset about it and do something about it.